All right, here we go. 2019 playoffs. I feel like I haven't been in the driver's seat for a while. Chris has been covering for me, but he is up at camp this year. So I'm here with Alex, San Diego Seals GM. What's going on, Alex? Are you gonna hide in the background? Are you gonna talk? I guess he's hiding. That's okay. He might.
Oh, I was muted, but I'm here.
Oh,
I'm probably gonna hide in the background though.
It's all good. But yeah, welcome to another season of the playoffs. Last season for out of the park 25, then we're going to convert to 26. So let's take a look at how this season went. Let's look at the overall standings real quick. Some resurgent years here. We'll actually go to the playoff standings. We've got in the first round, Denver facing New York. And Denver back in the playoffs, I think, for the second straight year. 91 wins last year, 103 wins this year. They've got a really good team. Good enough for third in the Jade. They're going to go against a really good New York team. New York's got 93 wins this season. I think this is their sophomore year in the playoffs as well. I think last year they kind of broke that long streak of being a rebuilding team. So from 85 wins to 93 wins. Both these teams moving in the positive direction and both hoping to get out of the first round. Denver won the season series 4-0. So they seem to have the advantage, but you know, the playoffs are a new beast. We'll see how this plays out. Somerville and New Orleans up next, two veterans of the playoffs. Obviously New Orleans, a two-time champion now. winning, I believe, 2 years ago, 2017, and then 2015 or 14. I don't recall here. And then we've got Somerville. I don't think JR's won a championship yet, but they are a perennial contender in the playoffs. 105 wins for the Mudcats this year. And looking back again, they did win that 2017 championship. 12 playoff appearances for this franchise. Somerville, 13 playoff appearances, no championships, but again, he's there every single year. Let's see if this is his year. 92 wins. That was good for third place in the Sapphire. Next up, we have, and just the matchup here, 2-2 split between these two teams. So, matchup here next in the Ice Conference. It's going to be Fort Collins going against the Washington Generals. Kyle's swan song here, I think I'm using that appropriately. Last hurrah as he tries to win a championship. He's been here an OG, but he's going to be leaving after this season. We will definitely miss him. Going against Steve, who isn't very optimistic about his chances here in the playoffs. This will be an interesting first round matchup. Steve hasn't been in the playoffs in a long time, so this is actually his bounce back season in a sense. Yeah, 6 total playoff appearances. Obviously had bad luck the first few years. Let's take a look here. First time since 2015, so back in the postseason after winning the Sapphire Division this year. And then Fort Collins, another regular in the playoffs. We'll have a new GM in Fort Collins next year, but let's see again if Kyle can go out on a strong suit. 12 playoff appearances in his 19 seasons. So 3-1 in favor of the Generals in the season series. Going to the Fire Conference, we've got the San Antonio Chillers Picantes going against the Oklahoma City Outlaws, and Oklahoma City is rudderless, I think, at the moment. I haven't seen CJ for a couple exports now, and he didn't respond to my outreach, so we just kind of moved forward here tonight without him. Daryl, meanwhile, last year, I believe made the conference championship before getting knocked out, or did he make the championship against Las Vegas? I'm having a bad memory. I'm gonna have to look. I don't remember. Yeah, but anyways, 2-2. These guys split last year. Where can we look? Playoff history, right? League history. Huron last year, my bad. So, San Antonio knocked out in the conference championship series. I was right the first time. Should have stuck with my gut. Going back to the playoffs. On to the next matchup is the St. Louis Steam. George got his team back in the playoffs here this year with an 85-77 campaign going against the San Diego Seals. And Alex's team, first time for the Seals back in the playoffs in a long time. Looking at both these teams real quick and their history. St. Louis, not a ton of playoff success, so good to see them in the postseason. Let's see if they can make a run. And the Seals, they haven't been here in a while either. It's first time since 2010. I want to say maybe the first time in the Out of the Park 25 era. So let's see if they can do anything here in the postseason. And then our last matchup of the evening, it's going to be the Mexico City Luchadores going against the Huron Herons. This is Larry against Mason. And Larry kind of snuck into the playoffs here in the very last week. It was a dogfight between like 6 or 7 teams who all questionably, deserved to make the playoffs. The Luchadores are in with an 80-82 record, but I want to say with 5 games left, there was 4 or 5 teams within 2 games of that last spot. And then we've got the Huron Herons winning the division and winning this season series 4-0. This is going to be Mason's last season here with us as well. We'll be looking for a new GM next year, but he's going to be here for the playoffs, and let's see how he can do. So, yeah, without further ado, let's take a look at the playoff tree and the scores. get things rolling. All right. Just giving Oklahoma City a quick auto AI reorg so it's not in shambles here. Oh, let's not look at my team. Click, 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 click. All right, here we go. Good luck. John Hodges, solo home run for the Steam, starting things off real quick. Some pitching matchups. Yeah, there's a lot. I should have gotten on Broom sooner. That's okay. Joe Nickerson, solo home run in the first. So 2 home runs for the Steam to start things off. 2-0 over the Seals. Meanwhile, an injury to Tomas Tapia. Man, I can't speak. We'll have to check that out for the game. But Fort Collins also jumping out to an early lead. 3 singles, so a hit fest. 5 hits in the first. 3-0 on the Generals. 2-0. New York takes the lead in the first. Jung Chun Huang, 2-run home run. That's been a great signing for New York ever since he made that pickup 2 years ago. And the Huron Herons are out 1-0 in the first. So a lot of scoring here early. Kenny Renstrom with a single driving in Montenegro. Washington on the board in the bottom half, 3-1. Carlos Zuniga scores on a single. Denver ties the game in the second, so 2-2 now. They're in New York with a Gutierrez double and a Pedroza single. Meanwhile, the Seals on the board for the first time here in the playoffs. Carlos Ramirez triples in Jennings. 2-1 in that game. Miguel Carrillo solo home run puts New York on top 3-2 in the second, and in the fourth, St. Louis extends the lead with a 2-run homer from Nate McCarthy, the very dangerous Nate McCarthy. Chris Jimenez solo home run for Fort Collins. It's going to make that game 4-1. A couple injuries here. Eric Gilbride for Denver. Aaron Leonberger for Mexico City. We'll have to check into all these after the game. Single for Jan Allis drives in a run. That makes it 2-0 Huron in the third, and the Seals get one back against the Steam. Tim Gooch singles in Ramirez. Prieto solo home run for the Herons, 3-0 in the fourth. New York extending the lead, a bases loaded walk, and then a single driving in 2, so 3 total runs, 6-2 now in that game over Denver. Somerville on the board first against New Orleans in the fifth, 3-0 with a 3-run homer by Jesse Harnois. And Oklahoma City strikes first in the fifth against San Antonio, 1-0. Antonio Soriano singles in Robinson. Gary Huber solo home run gets the Seals a run closer, 4-3 now in the fourth. Adam Siebold singles in 2. Oklahoma City extends it to 3-0 in the fifth, and New York adds an insurance run. Jesus Apraskin doubles in Kohlers, 7-2. San Antonio, first run of the playoffs. Carlos Valencia, solo home run in the sixth, 3-1 now. And they trail in that game. Lee Vargas singles, 7-3. Denver gets one back. Oklahoma City extending the lead with a 3-run home run, 6-1 now. Brian Guizdala. Meanwhile, Carlos Ramirez 2-run single give the Seals the 5-4 lead in the fifth, and they extend it to 7-4, make that 8-4. Dave Ramirez doubles in 2 more. Mitch Brand doubles in another. On the other side, Washington grand slam from John Hersey makes it 5-4 in the fifth. And they flip the script on the Roosters mid-game here. Fort Collins, Fort Collins. Meanwhile, the Herons extend the lead 4-0 with a solo home run by Cale Collins. Somerville getting some insurance as well. Pablo Gonzalez reaching on an error. That's going to score a run and then a sac fly. So some small ball and some miscues by the Mudcats. Sean Humphrey leading the game with an injury for the Seals. Miguel Carrillo, 2-run homer, second of the game for New York, and they've got that game pretty much in hand with a 6-run lead in the 5th. Nate Reed solo home run for Washington gives them an insurance run, and William Zoll extends the lead for Oklahoma City 7-1. Mexico City set some kind of record here. I say we'll check all these things. Hopefully I remember. Curious to see what that is. They are hitless, or not hitless, but scoreless here in the 8th. Jamie Font singles first run for the Mudcats late here in the 7th, down by 4 still. Huron extends the lead 5-0 with a Renstrom solo home run, and then a 2-run homer in the 7th. Edwin Tellez ties the game for Fort Collins in Washington. Somerville extends the lead 6-1 with a Melvin Graham double. And then Ryan Crater doubles 7-1 here in the 8th inning. It's a final in Huron, 5-0 shutout for Miguel Pera. He pitched beautifully, 7.2 innings, 3 hits, 12 strikeouts for the ace. Mitch Brandt singles, and then a Tim Gooch grand slam puts this game out of reach for the Seals. They were down 4-1 in this one, and they've clawed back with 12 unanswered runs. 13-4 now in the 7th. That Mexico City Huron game went fast compared to these other ones. It's a final in OKC. The computer gets a win. 7-1 over San Antonio. And Jake McClotterty singles. Travian Willis. Probably a meaningless run there in that game. All eyes really Fort Collins in Washington. Washington's got a leadoff runner on in Jerry Heinerman. Nate Reed flies out one. Borjas strikes out. It's going to be the pinch hitter in Morales. Ivan Morales lines out. So on to the 9th we go. We're going to stay tied in that game. See if they send out Scott Moore for his second inning of work here. It's going to be a pitching change. Ruben Gauchi into the game. He's been pretty good this year. He gets Chris Jimenez to strike out. Edwin Tellez lines out, and then Vince Lee flies out. 1-2-3 go the Roosters. Bottom of the 9th we go, tied at 6. Meanwhile, 3 runs on the board. Jamie Font's 2-run homer. Jalen Dilworth solo home runs. So 7-4 game, but down to the last out for the Mudcats in that one. And we have a final in San Diego. The Seals win game 1, 13-5. Patrick Saul grounds out for out number 2 here. We got Steinman on the mound for the Roosters. And a Zuniga single, so the winning run on first, but Willie Collado flies out. On to the 10th we go there, and the Mudcats, 2-run homer by William Benash. But they can't get all the way back. They came so close there. Look at that, 3 home runs in the 9th inning. They fall to the money line, 7-6 in game 1. Meanwhile, Paulo Corrado, I did not say that name, Paulo Corradura hits a solo home run for Denver. but they fall to New York in game one, 9-4. 2 on, 2 outs for the Roosters, but Jorge Castillo strikes out swinging. That's going to bring us to the bottom of the 10th. Steinman, let's see if he's still on the mound. 105 strikeouts, 28 walks. John Hersey singles to lead things off for Washington, and a Heinerman, an error allows Heinerman to reach. First error of the game for Fort Collins. A double play, and then an intentional walk. First and third here, 2 down for Tate, the shortstop. Looks like he came in defensively. Full count, he walks. That's going to bring up Barcia with the bases loaded. Fernando Barcia, he looks pretty good. I don't know this guy. He must be young. And he gets it done. Fernando Barcia walks in dramatic fashion to win game one for the Generals. A walk-off walk in the 10th. So we've got home teams winning across the board with the exception of the money line, sneaking it out in New Orleans. Take a look at pitching matchups real quick on this one. Tyler Worthen, super sexy, one of the best pitchers in the league for Denver, going against Matt McKnight for New York. This guy's just a rookie, 34 innings pitched this year. Mark Jernigan for the money line. This guy coming over in the trade here. Looks like this season he's going to be pitching against Brandon Karen for New Orleans, second full season for Karen here. So again, a lot of young players in our league. Tony D'Arcangelo, 30 years old. He's been a vet here for the Fort Collins Roosters. Let's see if he can get them on the in the W column. And then we've got Washington sending out Bobby Garcia, 23 years old. He's got very little service time. Meanwhile, Fort Collins, Santa Clara. It's been so-so, but he's been with the Chili's contest for a couple years now. Charlie Waitkiss on the other end for OKC. Second season, about 100 innings pitched each season. Jake Brown going for St. Louis. Not the best pitcher. Let's see. He strikes out a lot of guys, but he walks a lot of guys. And then Jabari Alexander, not a great pitcher as well for San Diego. So this is going to be an offensive game, most likely. We'll see. And then the last matchup, Noah Godson for Mexico City. He's really been kind of the heart of that team since Larry got here. And then Ernie Paulus for Huron, also just a guy who's been an anchor for a team for a long time, even though he's only 29 years old. So let's get these game twos underway. Jorge Castillo, 2-run homer, 2-0 Fort Collins in the first, and Patrick Saul leaves the game with an injury. I said I was going to check injuries, and I forgot. Chris Heisey singles, driving in Ramirez, 1-0 Seals in the first, and 1-0 Mexico City. David Melgarejo, solo home run. Jim Smith doubles, driving in Crater. 1-0 lead for the money line. Ken Taylor, solo home run. ties it up 1-1, 2-2. I mean, in the second. John Hodges walks. The base is loaded. St. Louis 1-1 now, and that takes a 2-1 lead on a ground out in the third inning. Meanwhile, Huron extends the lead 2-1 with a Cale Collins solo home run. Takes the lead, and then extending the lead is the St. Louis Steam's Joe Nickerson with a 2-run single, and that's now 4-1. Ground out by Jamie Founts. Gets one back for the Mudcats, 2-1 in that game. And Denver first to score in the Denver-New York matchup. Paulo Corredora with a solo home run. Chris Jimenez single in the fourth. 3-0 Fort Collins. Make it 5-0 with a 2-run double. And 6-0 on the Dave Morgan single. So a big rally here for the Roosters in the fourth inning. San Antonio first to score against OKC. Mark Green doubles in Valencia. 2-run homer Josh Mitchell. Mexico City from down 2-1 up to 3-2 in the fifth. Tyler Worthen, 10 strikeouts through 5 innings for Denver, even though they trail 1-0 in that game. Blake Boyle, solo home run, extends the Fort Collins lead. They're well in control of Game 2 against Washington, looking to tie the series. Tony Acuna doubles, driving in Warfield, 3-1 now, and OKC ties it up on a Guizdala solo home run. Meanwhile, Gabriel Muniz, 3-run homer. Denver now up 4-0, and it ignited a brawl there between Matt McKnight and Clark Lake. Some bad blood, those guys. Let's see if they serve a suspension here in the postseason. Frank Pedroza doubles into 6-0, and then Josh Dorner makes it 7-0 in the sixth. Meanwhile, Washington gets on the board, 7-1. Carlos Zuniga, solo home run. Injury to Joe Strickler. Couple more for Washington. Wild pitch and a single. New York on the board. John Smith grounds into a fielder's choice. And Mexico City explodes here for a couple runs. They extend the lead from 3-7, or 3-2 to 7-2. Sac fly, a 2-run double, and another sac fly for that team. San Antonio, a single gives them the lead here in the eighth inning. We should slow this down as we get closer to the end. And then OKC ties it up in the bottom of the eighth. Antonio Soriano singles. So 2-2 as we go to the ninth in OKC. Meanwhile, 4-4, a 3-run homer in the eighth inning for David Ramirez. Worth every penny, says the Seals. Francisco Gomez leads the game with an injury for them as well at the same time, but they tie the game in the eighth with a huge 3-run homer. So we're really looking at 3 games right now. New Orleans tying run at the plate here in the bottom of the eighth. A tie game here in the ninth with runners on for St. Louis and San Antonio. St. Louis can't score. Bottom of the ninth we go. And same with San Antonio. So the Outlaws and the Seals trying to end this game. Meanwhile, 3 outs left for New Orleans up in that game, trying to avoid a 2-0 series deficit on the road, at home, Huron's clawing back. They got the tying runs plate here. But strikes out swinging, so they're down by 3 as we go to the ninth. Meanwhile, 2 games now into extras. Washington down by 3 as a 2-run single by Nate Reed brings them a bit closer. And New Orleans gets one back, a solo home run. Tomas Tapia singles in Estrada in the 10th inning, and San Antonio takes the lead in extras and extends the lead with a Victor Lozano single. 2 on, 2 out for the Mudcats here. Last chance. Dilworth at the plate. And they can't get it done. Somerville takes the 2-0 series lead. Meanwhile, 2 on, nobody out for the Seals in the bottom of the 10th. And OKC down by 2 in the bottom of the 10th in their game, trying to get some back here. Meanwhile, Denver and Mexico City have both gone off to really extend the leads in those games. Those are pretty much over. OKC gets one back. Solo home run. William Zoll, the catcher. Fort Collins hangs on with an 8-5 win. They tie that series 1-1. Bases loaded, 1 out for the Seals. Brandt at the plate. He's 0 for 3 on the game. And the tying run at second for the Outlaws. Mexico City gets the win, ties that series up. The Seals can't get it done, so on to the 11th we go. Oklahoma City down to their last out. Soriano at the plate. And he can't get it done, so San Antonio wins game 2, and that's a 1-1 series as well. I think we're going to have a bunch of 1-1s outside of the Somerville series. It's kind of been the oddball here. And St. Louis and San Diego up in the air as well. Parbs in the pitch for St. Louis. And that's going to do it. Tim Gooch, solo home run, walks it off for the Seals in the 11th inning. And they take a 2-0 series lead. Back to St. Louis we go. Meanwhile, just a technicality here in Denver. We'll speed it up real quick as this is a blowout. All right, let me look at some injuries here. Let me just run the injury report so people who are watching can know what happened. 'Cause I'm not going to look at everybody. All right, let's see. Scores. Nick Henson, the ace. Best pitcher in the league. Wow, look at his. I mean, he must have been injured this year, huh? No, it was a trade. Never mind. Man, this guy's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. I can't believe Bobby traded him, by the way. Bobby. Crazy. Frank Vaughn. Good luck. He's also talented, but, like half half the man Nick Henson is. New Orleans needs to get back in this. Mike Shane's the guy to do it. We got the ace on the mound for the Mudcats, and we're going against Josh East here. Josh East, he's been with the money line for a long time. See if he can get the job done. And Washington, Fort Collins, the series tied 1. We've got Zhao Shuang Wei on the mound for Washington. Second full season, really took a step up this year. And then John Hartford, kind of a mid guy here for Fort Collins, just kind of a fill-in, it feels like. Meanwhile, OKC, Mark Fox on the mound. This is a young, bright-looking rookie. Whoever takes over this team is going to be happy to have Mark Fox. Alex Rivera, second full season here for San Antonio. Future looks bright for this guy as well. Control looks a little suspect, but and he's kind of a douchebag. But he's a lefty. Hey, gotta love those lefties. Series tied at 1 there. Let's see who wins that one. Bryce Drogic. This guy looks like the future here for the Seals. Won the ERA title this year. Led the league in wins. Led the league in a lot of things. See if he wins Pitcher of the Year. Macho Meza, 60-60, 26 years old. Second season, first full season. This guy looks pretty nice for St. Louis, and a team that's historically had a lot of good hitters, but not a lot of really good pitching. So let's see if he can stabilize that rotation for years to come. Russ Pittman for the Herons. Looks like a fill-in here. Not a lot of experience. And then Andre Crawford, the ace of Mexico City on the mound. So some clear advantages in a few matchups, but you know, baseball doesn't always play out like you think. So let's see how it goes. Good luck. Ran injuries here. Let's read these off while we've got these games starting here. 1 week, day-to-day for the Seals, Sean Humphrey. We've got Aaron Lionberger. 3 to 4 weeks, day-to-day for Mexico City. Looks like everything's day-to-day for everybody, so no serious injuries, fortunately. Starting things off quick for the Mudcats. Dave Schaefer singles in Hines, 1-0 in the first, and then in the second they add another one on a Sunkyo Hayakawa solo home run. 2-0 in that game. 3-run homer in the first for Fort Collins. Mike High gets them on the board early against Washington, who's already avoided that first round sweep that they had predicted. Doesn't mean they're going to win this series against Kyle and a very smart Roosters GM. I'm sucking up to Kyle on stream in hopes that he doesn't leave. One nothing Seals. Francisco Gomez solo home run, third inning. Two nothing now. 3-0. Seals add a few more on a couple singles by Brandt and Heisey. Meanwhile, 6-0 as Fort Collins adds two more home runs, 3 on the game now. Jorge Castillo with a 2-run homer, Mike High with a solo home run. Second home run of the game for Mike High. David Melgarejo doubles in right in Mexico City, strikes first against the Herons. Clark Lake, 3-run homer in the third for Denver, puts them up 3-0. And obviously we've flipped home field here for all these teams. And we've got a bunch of scoring happening now. The Seals have absolutely exploded on the steam. They're up 8-0 here in the fourth. The Herons get 3 runs. Lopez doubles. Cale Collins singles in 2. They're up 3-1 in the fifth. 2 for San Antonio in the fourth. Makes it 2-0 against OKC. And New York ties it up with a walk and then a single. 3-3 in that game in the fourth. Somerville down 4-1 now as they get on the board for the first time on an error that scores Gore. Solo home run. Mike Davis. Somerville gets one back in the sixth. New York takes the lead over Denver on a Yida Lim single, driving in Apriskin. So 4-3. San Diego just continuing to pile on. 11-0 in the sixth. Tying run at the plate for OKC. They've got a runner on third with nobody out. Bases loaded, nobody out for New Orleans, trying to end this game. They've gotten two more here from a Fonts walk and a Dilworth single already. Somerville gets out of the jam, though, without much more damage done, but still down by 4 as we go to the bottom of the 7th in that game. Denver takes the lead, meanwhile, on New York with a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 5th. 5-4 in that game. Bases loaded for Denver, trying to get insurance here. We've got a pitching change. Cannella in the game for New York. He's young. Gets the job done in a big moment. Chris Kohler's solo home run for the Griffins ties that game at 5 in the 6th. And a 2-run homer for Valdez gets the steam on the board. Too little, too late. 11-2. Tying run at the plate for Mexico City, down 3-1 in the bottom of the 8th here. Felix Garcia leaves the game with an injury for New Orleans. Tying run at first now for Mexico City. We've got a pitching change for the Herons, trying to get out of the jam, and they do. On to the 9th we go, 3-1. They retain the lead. 2-0, bottom of the 8th in San Antonio. They've got a 2-0 lead, and it's a final in Fort Collins. 6-0 over Washington. They take a 2-1 series lead over the Generals. Meanwhile, base runners on for Denver in the bottom of the 6th, trying to break that tie, but they strand them on a Clark Lake strikeout. Jamie Fount's solo home run extends the New Orleans lead in the 9th. That game's all but over. Leadoff runner on Josh Mitchell for Mexico City. It's 3-1. Josh Guzman lines out. Lineberger singles, so tying run at first with 1 out for Bender. Bender flies out. It's going to leave up to Smith. And he can't get it done. The Herons take game 2 and the 2-1 series lead. San Antonio takes the 2-0 win over OKC. A great pitching performance all around for that team. New Orleans, 7-2 victory over Somerville, and they're on the board with a win. So the road team's won every game in that series so far. All eyes in Denver for the New York-Denver game. This is a close one. David Ramirez, 2-run homer. Chris Heisey doubles in Brandt, and all of a sudden the Seals have invoked the 10-run rule on the Steam. Luckily, we have just 3 outs to go in that one. Full count and a walk to Huang for New York here in the top of the 9th. Quick out by Jose Rosales, though. It's going to bring up Apriskin 2 for 4. He grounds into a double play. Bottom of the ninth we go. Denver trying to end this game. Quick 2 outs for the Dynamite. 1, 2, 3, I should say. I didn't even see who was pitching for New York. That's how quick that happened. On to the 10th we go. Chris Tobin out there for his 3rd inning of work. Korber leading things off. 2 for 3. It's a 3-1 count. And he walks. He works a full count walk. He's going to bring a pitching change out now. Dave Willis. I made that up, but it was Dave. How lucky is that? Dave Willis out there to face John Smith. An out, but he moves the runner up to second. Cantor intentionally walks, so first and second with 1 out for Martinez. The shortstop defensive replacement. He's going to strike out. That's going to bring up Carrillo. He's injured, 2 for 5 of the game. And he gets it done. 3-run homer. Miguel Carrillo comes up big. The 25-year-old third baseman gives the Griffins the 3-run lead in the 10th with a chance to go up 2-1 in the series. 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th for St. Louis, but they were well behind, and that game is the final. 14-6. Seals take game 3. Two on, bases loaded, 2 out for the Denver Dynamite. Down by 3, Shaw's at the plate. And he can't get it done. The Griffins hang on, and they win game 3, 8-5. So the Seals are up 3-0. Everybody else, I believe, 2-1 at the moment. And on to game 4 we will go. And then I'm going to drop the file, and I'm going to let people have until tomorrow morning to make any adjustments. And we're going to run the rest of the wildcard series in the morning. Let's take a look at these Game 4 matchups. Bill Marchado, another ace on the mound for New York. Mike Adames, not too shabby on the Denver side. Chris Anderson for New Orleans going against Ryan Lewis for Somerville. Washington sending out Jeremy Miller. Young, but had a nice season this year. And Jared Richter, lefty on lefty crime there in that game. Harry Padron for OKC going against Francisco Oquendo for San Antonio. Billy Larson on the mound for the Seals. Caleb Bailey out there for the Steam. And then we've got Greg Tarver, the ace of the Herons, on the mound against Melvin Vecino. So another clear advantage for Huron here. I feel like pitching-wise, we'll see how this one plays out. On to game 4. right, first inning magic here for OKC. Adam Seabold drives in one. They take a quick lead. New Orleans gets two. Jalen Dilworth and Dave Schaefer, both with some RBI hits. And San Antonio responding in the bottom half. Tommy Brown, solo home run, making it 1-1. Melvin Graham singles for Somerville, putting them on the board. They trail 2-1 now in the first. And OKC takes the lead back in the second inning. Soriano doubles in Robinson. Meanwhile, McClaherty singles in Nickerson, and that's going to make that a 1-0 game in the second inning. Taking a look at these series, everybody 2-1. New York, Somerville, Fort Collins, San Antonio, and Huron, all with the 2-1 series leads. San Diego up 3-0 on St. Louis. Dave Ramirez solo home run makes that 1-1 in the fourth. Rooting for St. Louis here. Just want to see everybody make it to tomorrow, and then everybody's fates are whatever their fates are. Two on, one out for New York. Bases juiced. And a John Smith single drives in two. They take a 2-0 lead in the fourth inning over Denver. Meanwhile, 2 runs for Fort Collins on a 2-run homer by Jorge Castillo in the fourth inning. And San Antonio ties the game up 2-2 on a Jamie Morrison single. That's in the third. Juan Borjas singles in Reed. Washington's on the board 2-1. First time they've scored in a minute. I think Fort Collins shut them out last game, and then 5 innings into this game, so the offense is a bit stagnant. I think Steve mentioned he lost his MVP first baseman a couple sims before the playoffs. New York 3-0 now up on Denver. Rosales sac fly. Huron takes the lead in Mexico City 1-0 in the sixth. A pitching duel in that game. And San Antonio extends the lead here. Takes the lead and extends the lead. Gets 4 runs in the fourth inning. Now leads 6-2 over OKC. Denver grand slam in the fifth inning by Paulo Corredora. And this guy's been really good here in this series. Take note of this guy, ladies and gentlemen, because he is going to be good. 4-3. They lead in the fifth. We got to slow this down. We got some games late here. Some 8th inning games here. 1-1 Seals and Steam in the ninth now. And 1-0 Huron still on top of Mexico City. 10 hits for Huron. They just can't get those runs across right now. Meanwhile, San Diego just 1 hit here as we go in the 9th inning. And it was a David Ramirez solo home run. Somerville bases loaded, 2 outs in the 6th, down by 1. Can't get a run across. Mudcats hold on to the 7th. A lot of close games. Tying run at second for the Mexico City Luchadores. Got a pitching change now, and Bowers coming into the game. Oh, and we have a extension of the lead for San Antonio, 7-2. Meanwhile, winning run on for St. Louis in the bottom of the 9th, but 2 down in that game. Leonberger singles in Mitchell, 1-1 in the 8th. They tie it up. 2-1 for St. Louis. Can't get it done. On to the 10th we go. 1-1. 1-1 to the 9th we go in Mexico City. Meanwhile, 2-1. Bases loaded for the Mudcats. They can't get insurance. Bottom of the 7th we go. Bases loaded for Fort Collins. 2-1. And they can't get insurance. So some crazy shit here in these games. I think, yeah, we've got it pretty slow here. Let's slow it down. There's a lot going on. Denver 4-3 lead, and they've got a man on second. Lozano, the only game we don't care about is where action keeps happening. Victor Lozano, 8-2 now, San Antonio. They're about to extend that game to a 3-1 series lead. And the only GM I'm really rooting for, San Antonio, because, you know, fuck the computer, right? Or fuck the person that didn't export. No, just kidding, CJ, if you're still here. Hopefully you're okay. But rooting for San Antonio. All these other games, super close. Let's see. Man on third, one out here for Washington, trying to tie it up in the ninth. First and third now. Steal second and third, one out. Need one run to stay alive here in game 4. And Benitez strikes out. It's going to bring up Hersey. Hersey gets it done, a 2-run single. He's been huge in this series. 3-2 Washington takes the lead in the ninth inning. Denver gets an insurance run. 5-3 they lead on New York now. A Chris Stewart single. John Hersey though, he's had some big hits. None bigger than that one. Still 2 on, 2 outs in that game. Saul walks. 11th inning, meanwhile. Man on third, one out for Mexico City here, trying to win the game. It's a Bobby Topin triple with 1 out. And Wright strikes out swinging, so it's going to bring up Wilson. Wilson intentionally walks. Mel Guerrero is going to be up. Santomaro coming in, really good reliever, coming in to try to get out of this jam here. Poor Collins has the tying run on, 1 out though in the ninth. Santomaro goes right at Mel Guerrero and strikes him out swinging on like 3 pitches. On to the 10th we go in that game. Bottom of the 11th, St. Louis at the plate now. And meanwhile, last out for the Roosters. It's going to be John Cone. Made up his first name again. Jaden Cone. Pinch hitting here. He's fighting, but he can't get it done. Washington takes game 4. That's going to be a 2-2 series. OKC trying to rally from 8 down. Mudcats get an insurance run in the ninth on a Jamie Founts solo home run. And a runner on first for the Seals with 1 down now. Guzman at the plate for Mexico City. 1 down in the bottom of the 10th. Speed this up. I guess we're a little too slow. There's just a lot going on. First and third. Oh, maybe I got to slow back down now. First and third, Mexico City. 1 out. Bailey at the plate. Mexico City extends the lead, and we've got an injury to Jose Guzman. Run the injury report up for this, obviously, but fielder's choice by Bailey. Looks like they got him at the plate because it's first and second now, so that game's still 1-1, and we've got a pitching change. We got Chick in the game, Justin Chick, trying to get out of the jam, and he does. On to the 11th we go there. Meanwhile, Denver hangs on to beat New York 5-3. And they tied that series up 2-2. So we've got 2-2-2 series. Mudcats trying to win this one on the road and make that a 2-2 series. 2-2 series. I'm saying too many times. Had too many whiskeys, I think. Good thing we're only doing 4 games tonight. Two-out base runner for the St. Louis Steam. Mike Burkett on for McClotterty. Bottom 11th we go for Mexico City. Back up to 20 we go. Till we see some action. It's a final in Somerville, about to be. It's a final in Mexico City. Jonathan Wright, solo home run, bottom 11th, ties that series up. So the improbable number 8 seed, number 7 seed, still alive against the 2 seed, 2-2. New Orleans ties it up, so 2-2 there. So we've got 4 2-2s. San Antonio, I think, has a 3-1 series lead. Losing track. Let's go 1-1, bottom of the 13th here. Real pitching duel. Billy Larson with 7 innings pitched for San Diego. For St. Louis, Caleb Bailey 6 innings pitched, but the bullpens have just absolutely shut things down since then. Completely scoreless on both sides. Morant 0 for 5, leading things off in the 14th inning. Mendel out there for his second inning work. He struck out the side last inning, but he gives up a solo home run to Mitch Brandt in the 14th, and that might be St. Louis's season. They are now on the hot seat to get a run here in the bottom of the 14th. We're not out of the woods yet, though. Jeff Vroom, great fucking name. Hope that guy's fast. Walks. Strikeout swinging by Felix and a flyout by Jennings. On to the 14th. Bottom of the 14th we go. Woods has pitched 3 innings, hasn't struck out a single guy, but didn't allow a run either. Kevin Green going to try to shut this down. Lead off single by Nate McCarthy. It's going to bring up Nickerson. Wild pitch. And a walk to Joe Nickerson. So Guzman, 2 for 4 at the plate. Guzman singles. He ties the game. 2-2 in the 14th. 2 on. Nobody out. Willis at the plate. Willis walks. Burkett at the plate. Pace is coming in the game here to try to shut this down. Joe Pace. Burkett 1 for 5. And he can't get it done. Burkett singles, drives in the winning runs for St. Louis from 2-1 down to 3-2, and they keep their season alive, avoiding the sweep. Let's finish today and take a look at the scores real quick. So yes, tied at 2 in the Ice Conference. We've got a 3-1 lead for the Seals and the Chiles Picantes, and tied at 2, Huron and the Luchadores. We'll drop an injury report. We'll drop the file, and we will sim tomorrow morning. If anybody wants to make changes overnight, they can, but we're not going to wait. So I think the sim is going to be around, I want to say, 11 a.m. tomorrow. So 8 a.m. Pacific. Take a quick look at the playoff coverage. Nobody's eliminated. I love it. Everybody's still in it. And I will see you guys tomorrow.